Hi, I'm Shawn. I'm the founder of Lovesac. And today I'm going to show you how to put Sactionals together. You don't need any help. Of course, you can pay for it and we'll give it to you or send someone out or whatever, but you can totally do it yourself. It's really easy. We're going to build right here this 4 and 5 chaise sectional comprised of 4 seats and 5 sides. We like to call the 4 and 5. Let's get started. The best way to set up your Sactionals arrangement is to first use your cushions to lay it out. So take your seat cushions, and in this case, I think what we'd like to build is that 4 and 5 chaise, right? You can just spread them out on the floor, and you can use these to kind of get an idea of how big your Sactional setup is going to be and which way you want to orientate them. Let's say now I'm quite tall and I want to sit a little deeper. Remember that I can arrange these same seat cushions, Sactional seats, in the deep fashion, like this. And that will allow my sectional to ultimately be actually a foot shorter in length with what I just did, but also 6 inches deeper, and I can really lean back into it and get comfy. We'll do that in the middle of this configuration, but in order to do that, we'll actually need to use a piece called the deep side, and I'll explain that in a little bit. But for now, this is what we want to build, a long ways version of the same chaise sectional, and we'll get right to it. The easiest way to begin configuring your Sactionals is to take one seat frame and get it in place. And the reason you want to set your seat frames down first is because then it's quite easy to put shoes on it instead of putting this frame into the shoes. Here's what I mean. I take a Sactional shoe, I make sure that it's face up, and that's what it says on the top here, and then I use the guidelines to help me get it into place. The guidelines will line up perfectly with the corners of these bases. Now don't worry so much about which way your shoes are facing or sticking out right now, because they're quite easy to rotate and move around once they're in place. It's a lot easier to lift the seat and put the shoe onto the seat than it is to put the shoe on the floor and try to get the seat to go into it. So again, lift the seat, put the shoe onto the seat foot, and then just rotate the shoe where you want it to be. Now this is a big watch out point right here. You'll find that if I have this shoe in place right here, and I go to attach this other Sactional seat onto the front of it as a chaise, that shoe is going to be sticking out funny, which is your first telltale sign that something isn't right. Shoes should never be sticking out. So how do we fix that? Just go ahead and tuck the shoe under. Shoes should never be seen. There's never a situation in Sactionals where shoes should be sticking out. But you'll wonder, how is this seat frame connected to this one? You'll see that there's a gap there. There's no shoe. Well, the key in a situation like this is to do what we call seat-to-seat clamping, which doesn't need to be done in all situations, just in ones like this. So I'll go ahead and grab one of these steel clamps. I'll clamp seat to seat, and now everything is straight and ready to receive the sides. One other question mark with Sactionals is what to do at the front of a chaise or ottoman. Shoes are optional. As you can see, the peg feet underneath this seat frame supports it just fine. And the height of those peg feet is the same as the shoes. But if you like the look of the shoes and these big, kind of giant, oversized wood feet, you can go ahead and place a shoe here and just let it float, just for the look of it. Now over here, you'll see that this shoe that we placed in the beginning is sticking out and not connecting this seat frame to that seat frame. And so we'll rotate it this direction and get the seat frame's foot down into that shoe using the guidelines, printed on the shoe. And you'll say, well, this one's sticking out as well as this one. Remember that I'm about to put a side here and here, and that will fill all these shoe holes and cover everything up nicely. Okay, now that we have your 4 and 5 chaise sectional built, Well, let's change it. Let's say that I'm really tall. And let's say that sitting here watching TV just doesn't quite cut it for my massively tall body in my dreams, right? What we can do is rotate the Sactional seats this direction, making them deep ways, and build a deep configuration. Now, if you're only doing this with two Sactional seats together, like in the case of a movie lounger or something or a deep sofa, then you can do this with the seats and sides just as they are. But when you want to do 3 or more deep seats together, it requires what's called a deep side. And I'll show you what that looks like right now. This is a deep side. The difference is that it's 6 inches shorter. Whenever you want to have 3 or more deep seats in a row, you'll need a deep side here in the middle. You'll notice that just normal sides work just fine on the ends because the 6 inches of this arm makes up for the 6 inches that this side overlaps here on the corner. But here in the middle, you need a side that's 6 inches less. Now, this is only in the case of 3 or more cushion deep seat. And you'll notice that this deep side, for the purposes of this filming, is not wearing any covers, so you can clearly see where it fits and how it goes. It connects to the Sactionals just like every other side, and it's quite easy to use. Now you'll also notice that if I had one deep side in place, or maybe multiple deep sides in place, the cushions start to get a little scrunched because these cushions are made to be 35 inches long, not the 29 inches of the deep seat. We actually make a deep back pillow and a deep back pillow cover, as well as, of course, deep side covers to make everything fit just right. But you can get away with it using the stock back pillows if you prefer. And now I have a sofa that is much deeper and easier to kick back on and get really deep in for movie watching or whatever. So just remember that with these same 4 seats and 5 sides, you can build anything you want. You can rearrange and reconfigure endlessly. In fact, come back, get a few more pieces, add on forever. The Sactionals will grow with you and your family. In fact, hopefully they just become part of the family.